Warning. The following video contains strong language that some viewers may find offensive or disturbing.
What's a little thing you do to make the world a better place? I am shy, so I find it hard to say in person when I have received good or great customer service, so I like to email the company directly and let them know. I always try to remember the person's name and to be specific, so that it might make it back to the employee or they might win a Employee of the Month award. It really does make a difference. I had a flight attendant that did a great job and I tweeted about it. When he had me on a flight like 6 months later, he remembered me and proudly told me they read my tweet in a training class. You're doing a fantastic thing by doing that. I used to leave my parking permit on the permit machines if I had an early day at community college so someone else didn't have to pay. Turns out it started a trend and people still do it. I can't take the full credit though. I think someone accidentally bought two and didn't realize it, so they left it at the machine. I used to do the same with bus tickets. The bus tickets in my area used to do paper tickets that were valid all day. So when I got off the stop near my flat, I'd leave the ticket in the bus stop for the next person. The tickets are all on an app now, or online monthly payments. I always make sure to be overly polite to people serving me, whether in a restaurant or a shop, and I always tell them to have a good day when I leave. Having worked in retail, I know a simple "how are you?" "thank you" or a "have a nice day" can mean a lot, especially on a bad shift. I was raised to have good manners, and I'll be damned if I don't flex them at any opportunity I have. It always saddens me that other people can't be the same way. I feel like everyone should have to do 6 months waiting tables between high school and college, or just after HS. I think it would make our society so much better overall. Donate blood products. Your body's constantly making red blood cells and platelets. And it's harmless, and possibly healthy, to donate. I started with whole blood because, well, that's what donating blood means to people. 15 minutes of time. Eat a cookie. Get a sticker. After I did that for a few gallons, I was asked if I'd consider donating platelets. They have to be used within 5 days of collection, so there's always a constant need. But it takes about 2 hours to do it. A single pint of blood doesn't have enough for a platelet transfusion. So the donor ends up hooked to an apheresis machine that'll centrifuge the blood, remove the platelets, and return the rest of the blood back to the body. So I end up watching Netflix for 2 hours on Saturday while doing another triple donation every other week, up to 24 times a year. It's like Spider-Man's quote in Civil War, "When you can do the things I can, but you don't, and then the bad things happen. They happen because of you." Obviously, donating like this isn't saving the world, but it's making the world a better place. And I'd feel ashamed if I just spend that time watching Netflix at home instead of doing some good at the same time. I also donated bone marrow in 2008. So that was a little more of a "if you can help and don't, and bad things happen, it's your fault" situation, as I was the best available match in the entire world for my recipient. That was a little thing to me, but a life-changing thing for that person's family. Closing parenthesis. Take care of my things. We didn't have much while growing up, and my mother always believed in quality. She would buy things she knew we would use a lot. I have the same pencil case from 6th grade. I'm in grad school now. I have linen bedsheets, water bottles, fountain pens, mugs, and even some clothes that I've used for over 10 years. This helps me consume less, creating less waste. I feel like we should strive to reduce before reusing and recycling. It blows my mind how some people go through so much crap because they see it as disposable or it's out of fashion. I've had the same backpack since 2007, the same duffel bag since 2004, and the same laundry hamper basket since 2000. I also use the hamper laundry basket to put my groceries in when I go to the store, so I'm not using bags either. I'm also in grad school and I've got 10-plus-year-old binders and the same ruler I've had since middle school. My dad hammered it into me that you take care of your stuff. It was annoying when I was younger, but once I started paying for all my own stuff I was so glad he was like that. When someone gets cut off repeatedly in conversation I make an effort to make eye contact with them and say, "Go ahead. I'm listening." Or something along those lines. I say, "Thank you." Sincerely. Simple but effective. My husband always says, "You're welcome," whenever anyone thanks him for anything. You wouldn't believe how often we skip it until you hear him. He holds a door open and someone mutters thanks. He says, "You're welcome." He hands me a dish I'm reaching for and I just thanks. And he says, "You're welcome." Always does. No matter how small or inconsequential. Slight clarification, he never says no problem or anything else. I don't know if I buy it. But I did hear once that no problem has an unspoken connotation that the action could have been a problem. I personally do like my pleasure. And I use all of these. My husband, though, only says "You're welcome." Try it for every little thing. You'll be noticed. And no, it doesn't come across as insincere or overly formal, he definitely is not that. Lol. I pick up a few pieces of trash each time I walk my dog. It's a very tiny thing but I like to think it adds up. I often hike ski mountains and you wouldn't believe how many beer cans, sunglasses, nip bottles, junk etc. that you find under chairlifts. It's all over the mountain but I usually hike under the chairlift to collect. Makes me feel good. Nature is beautiful and precious and people are dicks to it. I take a trash bag kayaking. Looks like a lot of it is accidental loss. Hardly ever seen anyone just chunk trash on the ground. Not like the 70s anyway. The more humans, the more trash makes its way loose. Found my own trash on the side of the road in the neighborhood. Oops, blew away and didn't see it. Oops, fell out the trash truck. Whatever. Pick up more than you lose and we're all good. Really. It's a can't lose scenario. Recognize and thank a person for their help, efforts. No matter how small a task may seem. I found this really helpful as a bar manager at festivals. When you have crazy 14-hour shifts, just telling people, "Hey man, thanks for restocking the fridge," really goes a long way. Purple heart. I always go on the side of the sidewalk closest to the cars when I see an elderly person or someone with a baby. I doubt anything changes really, but I like to think I'm being selfless. I don't know if it makes the world a better place. But I try to be as nice as possible to people. Even strangers who come up and talk to me. I'm nice to them. I don't know what they're going through. But sometimes we just need someone to talk to. Yes. Whenever I have an exchange with a retail or service worker I try to really look at them and invest a little in the exchange. People can tell when you treat them like a person instead of an automaton. I know many don't care and just want to be done with their shift. But that's the point. And some really seem to come alive if they realize you're treating them like someone who deserves notice. Wait for people that get left behind. No bro left behind. I used to get left behind at family lunches and dinners. As I am a slow eater. An uncle of mine started staying with me till I finished my food. Probably cost him some time but meant a lot for me. Use manners. Sounds inconsequential but after working hospitality, retail, the amount of people that don't use them is terrible. Related, treat the person answering the phone as a person. Recognizing that they're probably paid peanuts to be ranted at by customers who expect them to be magicians. Also experience taught. Answering any question, no matter how stupid, to the best of my ability. If someone has a genuine question about something, it's a dick move to ridicule them for it. This just promotes stupidity because people will be too scared to find out the truth for something. I hated it, and still do, when as a kid I asked a question and adults would just say, "It's to make you talk," or stuffs like that. So I stopped asking anything to people mostly because of it. I think they were too afraid to acknowledge the fact that they didn't know the answer. The more I grow, the more I realize adults are stupid and immature. Compliment people. I saw on here that men don't get many compliments, so I try to do it in as unflirty a way as possible so it doesn't get awkward. Simple stuff like "cool shirt," When I worked at Starbucks, I tried to say one compliment to each customer that went through the drive-thru. It could be something as simple as, "Nice sunglasses," or "watch," or whatever. It could literally be anything, and it totally switched people's attitude toward you. I told other partners, other employees, to do this, and it somehow made some shifts a lot easier to manage. Customer-wise, I still try to do this at work, but it's a little harder now with the social distancing and masks. When you see someone that looks down or lonely, talk to them. You might make a good friend. Having been that person, thank you. I can't thank the random people who stopped what they were doing just to start a conversation with me. But it was always needed, and it always saved me. So thank you, for the people you've saved. If you really don't think someone is okay, never ask them when there are other people around. Talk to them privately, and come across as very understanding. 100% this. I do this also because it's the way I would want to be approached. Plus, it opens a space for real interactive communication. You will be seen as someone who respects their privacy and truly cares. Smile at strangers I pass. When I was younger, I read something, may or may not have been true, that a man was contemplating suicide and told himself that if one person smiled at him that day, then he wouldn't do it. And no one did. So he killed himself. Again, I don't know if it was just a story or if it actually happened. But I told myself from then on I'd smile at anyone I passed on the street. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you next time.